In order to win over the campus beauty, I woke up every day at 5 in the morning and stuffed breakfast into her desk without fail. I thought I was doing something romantic until one day, a stream of glowing words appeared in front of me. Supporting male lead, you've been delivering breakfast for so long, but didn't even realize you've been delivering it to the wrong person. That's the female villain's desk. I froze. The next line popped up immediately after, but have you noticed that since the supporting male lead delivered the wrong breakfast, the skinny villain who used to be too broke to eat has actually gained some weight? Another voice chimed in, exactly. The guy packed so much meat into that sandwich, he was basically stuffing a pig. Poor villain girl, she thought he liked her. But no, he was just feeding the wrong desk. I stopped in the hallway, totally thrown off, and instinctively looked up. In the distance, standing in the corridor, a gloomy and fragile-looking girl stared at me with surprisingly bright eyes. Later that day, the system found me while I was helping my mom flip pancakes at our stall near the school gate. It told me straight up, you're the supporting male lead. Your mission is to win over the female lead. Don't waste your time frying dough. I didn't even look up. I flipped a pancake and muttered, you want jianbing with or without egg? The system sighed, you'll earn money if the strategy works. You know that, right? I pulled off my gloves and said, why didn't you tell me that earlier? We could have skipped the drama. I'm not good at chasing girls. I only know how to make pancakes. The system, which sounded like a smug old widower, tried to give me game advice. That's easy. Deliver breakfast to the heroine every day to get her attention. Confident in my pancake skills, I wrapped up a set and strutted toward Emily Carter's classroom. But before I could get there, the system screamed, Jason, have you lost your mind? Look what the others are giving her. A photo popped up in front of me: delicate strawberry cakes, chocolates shaped like hearts, steaks with pasta arranged like Michelin art. My jianbing smelled like fried oil and street grit in comparison. I stood still and thought it over. Right, this is America. Western food, huh? Fine. I decided to make a sandwich. But following the tutorial online felt wrong. Lettuce, a slice of ham, a tomato. That's it. How was anyone supposed to survive on that? Rich people are seriously weird. So I improvised, fried up my favorite pancake fillings and stuffed them inside. 3 king sausages, 5 pork chops, 10 tenderloin slices, 20 strips of bacon, and finally, 5 packs of my favorite spicy strips. One bite, and you'd thank me even if someone shot you right after. I carefully wrapped this meat mountain into a sandwich, tucked it inside one of my pancake paper bags, and sealed it in a plastic bag. The system was dead silent for a while before saying, this is hard to evaluate. Good luck, I guess. Hard to evaluate? Please, this was gourmet genius. That night, I sneaked into Emily Carter's classroom and checked her desk. The sandwich was gone. Not a single leaf left. The paper bag? Neatly folded and placed in the corner of her drawer like it was a collector's item. She clearly loved it. My confidence skyrocketed. The next day, I went crazier. I crammed a full box of fried chicken between 2 slices of bread. And because you can't swallow that monster without a drink, I even sneaked in a bottle of Amul yogurt from the gift stash my mom was saving. A week passed, and Emily's desk was stacked with paper bags and clean yogurt bottles. It was practically an altar. I was sure she had fallen for the sandwiches and maybe for me too. She probably couldn't wait to find out who the anonymous breakfast angel was so she could marry me. So the next morning, I made sure to show up a bit late. When I arrived, someone was already in the classroom. A skinny girl wearing a baseball cap was bent over cleaning. It wasn't Emily, her hair wasn't that long, but who cared? As long as there was a witness, someone would tell Emily that the pancake guy finally made an appearance. I solemnly placed the bag on Emily Carter's desk, and just to make sure she could trace it back to me, I accidentally dropped my campus card nearby before turning and walking away with full dramatic flair. I hadn't taken more than 2 steps when a soft breeze blew behind me. A hand gently tugged at my sleeve. I stopped and turned around. That was the first time I saw her clearly. Pale skin, heavy bangs, oversized cap pulled low over her forehead. Her eyes were downcast, her whole face hidden in shadow. She looked sickly, like a ghost girl from a movie. As soon as she realized she was holding my sleeve, she flinched and let go like she got electrocuted. She mumbled, "Your card fell." I blinked, caught off guard. Still, I managed a smile and took the card. "Thanks." She froze, staring at my smile like it was the sunrise, and whispered back, "You're welcome." Then she clenched her hands at her sides, loosened them again, and with visible effort, added in a hushed voice, "Thank you." I glanced up and she was gone. Only my campus card lay quietly on the ground. I bolted back to my classroom, heart pounding. That damn kid almost blew my cover. And worse, I hadn't even eaten breakfast myself. Just as I was about to head out, a glowing message popped up in the air again. "No, supporting role, you took so long to deliver breakfast that you didn't even notice it went to the wrong desk." Huh? Supporting role? Me? What do you mean I'm not the lead? And what do you mean, wrong desk? Where are these messages even coming from? Before I could figure it out, more comments flooded in. "It's hilarious. The supporting male lead delivered breakfast to the wrong person for a whole week and didn't even notice. He gave it to the villain. And have you noticed? The poor, skinny villain has gained some weight lately. That's right. He made a breakfast sandwich so massive it was basically a pork burrito on steroids. He practically stuffed a whole pig into that sandwich. One bite was probably enough to keep her full for the entire day. Poor Lily Reynolds. She really thought I liked her, but all this time, I was just feeding the wrong desk." I paused outside the classroom, glanced up instinctively, and saw her again, thin, pale, standing in the hallway cradling a jianbing and a bottle of yogurt in her arms, staring straight at me like I'd gifted her the stars. The barrage exploded. Judging from her look, I bet the wedding march is already playing in her head. Villain girl must be thinking, "He likes me this much, bringing me food every day. I think I've started to like him too." Then another popped up, "Did you hear? The villain has a scary charm. She's like a soggy, paranoid ghost girl. Once she sets her sights on someone, she'll stick to him till death. Jason, you're in trouble now. Our Yandra queen is the type to latch on forever just because of a sandwich." They were laughing their asses off, but I was shaking in place. This was bad. Not only did I completely fail to win over Emily Carter, but now I'd somehow triggered the wrong plotline and caught the attention of the school's most dangerous girl. I remembered the system warning me about Lily. Cold, obsessive, ruthless, destined to go off the rails. If she clung to me now, would I even make it to graduation alive? No way. I had to cut this disaster off fast. I turned on my heel and dashed back into the classroom. Thankfully, the morning self-study bell was about to ring and students were slowly trickling in. I let out a breath. She wouldn't dare follow me in front of this many people. Right? I sat down, lowered my head, and opened my book to pretend I was focused, but just then, commotion erupted at the door. Wait, isn't that the Jinx from Class 10? What the hell is she doing here? Don't go near her, man. Look at her face, she looks like a walking curse. She's here for someone. No way, does she even have friends? Who is she waiting for? Just get her out of here already. A few girls started shoving her gently, trying to make her leave, but Lily didn't budge. She stood silently at the back door with a sandwich and yogurt in her arms, eyes fixed on my back like she was trying to burn a hole through me. The girls slammed the door in her face. Without a word, she walked to the classroom window, stood outside, and continued staring at me through the glass. The girls at the window got creeped out and yanked the curtains shut. I didn't even turn around, but I could feel it had weight pressing into my spine. Barrages flickered across my vision again. Lily's thoughts, I can't see my husband anymore. That's okay. I'm not sad. Really. I'm totally fine as long as he still loves me. Woo woo. Wait, no, I am sad. Hubby, please look at me. Just one glance. I wiped the sweat off my forehead and buried my face in my textbook, pretending to focus. At least she seemed to understand boundaries. She didn't show up for the next couple classes. But I knew better than to relax. After holding it in through 2 periods, I finally sprinted to the restroom like my life depended on it. On the way back, I couldn't help glancing toward class 10. That's when I saw her again. Lily wasn't in her seat. Instead, she was standing silently by the trash can, just staring inside it for a long moment. Then, with a dead look in her eyes, she reached in and pulled out a tied-up paper bag. My mouth dropped open. I didn't even need to guess. The barrage filled in the blanks, poor Lily. That sandwich was the only meal she had. She didn't even eat it yet. She tied it up carefully and left it on her desk, but those other girls, ugh. How cruel do you have to be to throw away someone's only food? People like her. They've been hated since childhood. Bullied, isolated. Eventually, they just stop loving the world back. Sometimes, it only takes one small thing to break someone already on the edge. Imagine if the meal from the guy she likes ends up in the trash. Will she just take it? Of course not. Preview: tonight, Lily will ambush those girls in an alley. One ends up unconscious and hospitalized. Lily gets expelled and begins her villain arc. Damn. She was smart too. Could have gone to a top university if none of this happened. But hey, that's her fate. I slammed my book shut, fists clenched. Fate, my ass. All she wanted was a decent meal. Why did that have to cost her everything? I forgot all about keeping my distance. I walked straight into class 10 and grabbed Lily's wrist right as she was about to toss the sandwich back in. Her eyes widened in shock. She nearly flinched away, but then saw it was me and lowered her head without a word. She didn't resist as I pulled her out in front of the entire class. Her slim body stumbled slightly behind me, completely silent, but her eyes peeked out from under her hat, fixated on the hand that was holding hers. A storm was gathering in them. Barrages flew in again. Jason, why are you suddenly so damn hot? I thought he was just funny, but now I'm in love with the supporting lead. This villain's gonna imprint on him forever. When we reached the teacher's office, I realized I'd yanked her too hard. She looked uncomfortable. I quickly let go and said, sorry. That was rough. Then I added, you're obviously not feeling well. Why didn't you say something? Lily didn't respond. She just lowered her head, then quietly touched the wrist I'd grabbed. I noticed the corner of her lips twitch, barely a smile, there for just a second before vanishing like it was never there. I was speechless. Okay, we're clearly not on the same wavelength. I sighed and said, let's go. I brought Lily Reynolds to her homeroom teacher's desk and politely explained everything that had just happened in the classroom. I wrapped it up by saying, honestly, I was just passing by and saw it by chance. Then I paused dramatically and added, but if I saw that by accident, imagine what I'm not seeing. Who knows how much worse it gets when no one's around. I glanced at Lily and continued, she's a top student. Ranked second in the whole school last time. She's got a shot at top university's Tsinghua, Peking. She deserves better than this. The middle-aged teacher, who had been lukewarm about the earlier complaints, suddenly sat up straight. The second I mentioned top university bonuses, it was like flipping a switch. Suddenly he was all business. Of course I'll take this seriously. I'll check the cameras personally. Don't worry. A barrage floated by, Lily's so happy she could jump through the roof. In her eyes, her husband just turned into a knight in shining armor. That snapped me back to reality. After we left the office, we stood awkwardly in the hallway. I rubbed the back of my neck and said, "Listen, if someone messes with you again, just tell me. Or better yet, tell the teacher. You've got good grades, they'll take you seriously. Don't take it out on yourself or anyone else, okay?" I had no idea if she heard any of it. She just stared at me with those watery eyes, unreadable and glimmering with something I couldn't quite name. The barrage whispered, "Lily, what's my husband even saying? Ugh, stop it and just kiss me already. The supporting lead is way too hot. There's no escaping this villainess now." I caught her biting her lip and slowly trailing her gaze up until it landed squarely on my mouth and didn't budge. I was frozen. I scratched my head, suddenly flustered. Right. Homework. Gotta finish that. I'll head back first. I practically fled, my heart pounding like I'd just escaped a proposal. As soon as I got back to class, I smacked myself in the face. Snap out of it, Jason. That was just you being a decent guy, nothing more. The Justice League version of me is now offline. I told myself to just keep some distance and things would calm down. No more breakfast. No more chaos. Right? But then. Should I really stop bringing her food? I mean, yeah, I needed to keep delivering to Emily Carter. That was the plan. But what about Lily? If I kept giving her food, wouldn't she get the wrong idea again? But if I stopped? Her family's broke. All the money she makes goes straight to tuition and books. I've seen her meals, one steamed bun and some pickled mustard greens. That's it. Every day. Honestly, she probably only survived this long because she's got that villain plot armor. But that bun isn't enough for someone burning brain fuel like her. What if I just gave her a little, like a smaller breakfast every day? Just enough to help, not enough to be misunderstood. Besides, the college entrance exams are almost here. Once we graduate, we'll go our separate ways. She can misunderstand me until then. If she ever finds out I'm not in love with her but just pitying her, she'll flip. Probably add me to her revenge list once she snaps. So yeah, I'll just give her breakfast. That's all. I won't do anything else. That's reasonable, right? With that settled, I finally relaxed. Oh, and about the whole supporting male lead thing. I asked the system again. Apparently, the previous host was a mistake. I really am the male supporting role, but I'm also the white moonlight of Emily Carter's teenage years. We had a thing, then broke up hard. The male lead picked up her broken heart and healed her. After I complete this arc, I'll get the reward. Sounds simple. Money, girls, happy ending. What could go wrong? The next day, I got up early to avoid Lily and snuck into Emily's classroom. The room was quiet. But there, by the window, I saw her. Lily. She wasn't wearing her hat today. She sat there with her head lowered, writing with those slender fingers. Her school uniform clung lightly to her frame, and her side profile glowed in the dim morning light. It was delicate. Fragile. Beautiful. Then she noticed me, and like a reflex, she snatched her cap and put it on, glancing up with eyes as bright as a puppy waiting for its owner. My heart stopped. Damn. If she was here, how was I supposed to deliver Emily's breakfast? I started to back up, but the light in her eyes flickered out. My foot froze in place. Crap. I sighed, walked in like I meant to be there, and handed Lily a sandwich with the fakest smile of confidence I could manage. Then I turned quickly and walked to Emily's desk, heart pounding. Should I give her the second one or not? I hesitated for a second, then clenched my jaw and slid it in. Damage control. Just as I was pulling my hand away, a familiar grip caught my sleeve again. I turned and locked eyes with Lily, her expression all confusion and hurt. She asked, "Why did you give it to her?" "That's Emily Carter's desk." "Yeah, of course it is," I said, trying not to lose my cool. "That's why I gave it to her." She still looked upset. I forced a laugh. "I just made an extra today. Thought I'd give it out at random. You know, lucky draw." Even as I said it, I realized how flimsy it sounded. "What about tomorrow? She's probably going to be here again." My brain scrambled for a cover story. "Oh, right, everyone in class knows how good my pancakes are. Emily asked me to bring her one and paid for it. That's all." Lily narrowed her eyes like she was doing mental math. "Really?" I nodded with extra conviction. "Really?" Then I patted her shoulder lightly and said, "Anyway, are you hungry? Go eat. Oh, by the way, did your teacher finish that investigation?" Her thoughts instantly derailed. She nodded. "They apologized to me." "Thanks. Good. That's really good." I was already halfway out the door when something red flashed in front of me. I stopped. It was a bracelet handwoven with bright red thread, intricate and surprisingly beautiful. She held it out and said, "For you." And "Thank you." Lily looked me straight in the eyes, no hint of embarrassment, like this was the most natural thing in the world. But I was completely thrown off. What the hell just happened? How did things end up like this? The barrage didn't help either. It popped up right on cue, "Close it while you can," supporting male lead. Another one followed. Lily stayed up all night at the jewelry store just to handweave that bracelet. She used the best materials, didn't even ask for pay. All night. No sleep. Just for you. I stared blankly at the red thread bracelet, heart starting to beat weirdly. In the end, I still took it. And then, after class, I was still zoning out, holding the thing like it held the secrets of the universe, when someone called me from the back door. "Jason Miller, someone's looking for you." The guy sounded unsure, and the look in his eyes was, well, weird. I turned and peeked over his shoulder. Of course it was Lily, standing at the door. I ignored the stares and walked straight over. "What's up?" I asked. She reached behind her back and handed me a plastic bag, smiling like she'd just earned a gold medal. Her eyes sparkled with pride. I asked. "She didn't pay you, so the pancake's back." I blinked. "Asked who?" Lily tilted her head and said, "Emily Carter." At that moment, I almost blacked out. "It's still warm," she added, nudging the bag toward me again. She looked so proud, like she expected praise. I was speechless. "You actually went and interrogated her? What kind of proud accomplishment is this?" I wanted to scream, but instead, I smiled like I had a cramp in my jaw and said through clenched teeth, "Thank you, Miss Reynolds. You did a fantastic job." She beamed. If she had a tail, it would be wagging like crazy. "It's nothing," she replied sweetly. Then she leaned in and said seriously, "Next time, make sure you collect the money first." If I kept listening, I was going to faint on the spot. I had to change tactics fast. The direct approach to chasing Emily was clearly doomed. Lily was unpredictable. If she found out I was still pursuing Emily behind the scenes, she might actually burn down the school. So, I went subtle. I recruited a few classmates and had them help deliver anonymous love letters to Emily Carter. 10 of them. 10 beautifully written, heartfelt letters. That's like my entire lifetime's worth of literary effort. Finally, Emily agreed to meet me after school. In the classroom, she sat alone, reading the 10th letter word by word. After finishing, she smiled quietly, sweetly and carefully folded each letter, placing them into a hidden pocket of her bag. A girl beside her noticed. "Hey, Emily, what's that? I thought you never accepted love letters." Another classmate chimed in teasingly, "Oh, please. If it's from her crush, of course she'll accept it, especially if he wrote 10. Emily didn't answer. She just borrowed a tiny mirror and started fixing her hair. She'd already finished her homework hours ago, and now every passing second felt like an eternity. But waiting for someone you like. That kind of torture was sweet. The moment the school bell rang, she stood up immediately and walked to the back door. But she waited there for 5 hours. And I never showed up. Why? Because just before the last class ended, the barrage popped up and told me Lily had a fever. She dragged herself to school just to hand me that bracelet. She couldn't hold out any longer and had gone home to rest. But the kicker? Her drunk, violent father had also come home that day. She was too weak to fight back. He beat her half to death and left her there, alone, sick and bleeding. That night broke something in her. The next day, when he came at her again, she didn't hesitate. She reached under her pillow, pulled out the scissors she'd hidden, and stabbed him. He survived. But she got arrested and missed the college entrance exams. I read that barrage and practically jumped out of my skin. The Justice League version of me went back online in full gear. I didn't even wait for the school bell. I threw down my pen and ran like hell. I found her halfway home weak, wobbling, barely standing. "Lily Reynolds." I called out, breathless. She froze like she'd just seen a ghost. But then she slowly kept walking, like she didn't trust her own ears. The barrage snorted, "Ugh. The villainess must think she's hallucinating because of the fever. Like, no way hubby's actually here." I called again, louder this time. She stopped, turned around fast, and her eyes dark, glistening, full of water locked onto mine. I rushed to her, panting, and said, "I heard you were sick and there's no one at home to take care of you. Why don't you come to my place for a while?" I realized how that might have sounded, so I quickly added, "My mom knows you like my pancakes. She's been working on new flavors and wants you to try them. That's all." Lily stood there, frozen like a glitching NPC. I tapped her shoulder awkwardly and said, "Let's go. Come on." The barrage rolled by. OMG, villainous.exe has crashed. She understands every word, but somehow can't process the full sentence. Is he really inviting her home? Another one commented, in her ears, that basically means, "Come meet my parents." Slowly, Lily's foggy eyes landed on my face, and she whispered, "Okay. Mom, I'm back." Thankfully, my actual mom was the MVP that day. She saw Lily's condition and rushed to her side. "Oh my God, sweetie, your fever's burning up. Why did you even come to school like this? Come here, sit down." She helped her onto the sofa and immediately started prepping a guest room, barking orders at me to grab water and medicine. 10 minutes later, Lily was tucked into a thick, fluffy comforter like a caterpillar, only her eyes peeking out. My mom heard a bit of her backstory and nearly burst into tears. "You're staying here the next 2 days. No arguments." She patted her chest like a hero. "Auntie's gonna feed you real good." Lily, still wrapped like a spring roll, stared at my mom with this slow blink like she wasn't sure if she was dreaming. After she took her meds, she lay down again. That's when we heard the front door open and my dad's voice booming from the hallway, "Berta. Come see what delicious stuff your old man brought home today." It was my dad who came back. He shouted from the hallway, "Hey! Why's no one home? Where'd everybody go? Are you playing hide-and-seek with me? Son? Honey?" No one answered him, so he kept yelling like a lost husky, "Wife! Jason! Eh!" My mom slammed the bowl down on the counter and yelled back, "What are you yelling about? We're right here." My dad walked in with a pout and said, "You didn't answer me. I'm mad now. You better kiss me or I won't calm down." But the second he stepped into the room, his eyes landed on Lily sitting on the bed, and they both froze, eyes wide open like two deer in headlights. Crap. I totally forgot to tell him I brought a strange girl home. He's not gonna freak out, is he? The atmosphere was tense for like 5 seconds, and then my dad suddenly pointed at the pink comforter Lily was wrapped in and said, "Honey, can you buy me one of those pink quilts too? It's so cute." We were all speechless. Me. My mom. Even Lily. I'd forgotten me dad's not exactly normal. In the end, my parents just hugged each other and cried, looking at Lily like she was the most precious thing on earth. "Such a good child," my mom whispered, choked up. "How could anyone treat her like this?" That night, just before bed, I kept feeling like I'd forgotten something. In the middle of the night, I suddenly sat straight up. Crap. I forgot to go see Emily Carter. The next morning, since Lily still wasn't fully recovered, my mom didn't let her go to school. So I went early and waited outside Emily's classroom. I was so nervous I kept pacing back and forth. When Emily finally walked out, she really lived up to her title as the heroine, tall, graceful, and stunning. Even in a school uniform, she looked like she could debut in a girl group. The second I saw her, guilt flooded my chest. I rushed up and bowed like a lunatic. "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to stand you up yesterday." But before I could finish groveling, someone gently held my arm. I looked up and Emily was smiling at me with that calm, soft gaze. "It's okay," she said. "I didn't wait that long. You must have had something urgent come up, right? God, she's so understanding." That just made me feel worse. I rubbed the back of my neck and asked awkwardly, "Today? Can I make it up to you?" She smiled again and said, "Sure." We walked to the milk tea shop together, chatting and laughing like nothing ever happened. When we arrived, I offered, "Want to get something to drink?" "Sure," she nodded. "What flavor do you like?" My treat. She was already pulling out her phone to order, but I stopped her. "No way. After what happened yesterday? I'm the one treating you. Just sit here for a minute, I'll get it." While I waited at the counter, I let out a long breath. To be honest, I didn't expect Emily to be so chill and easy to talk to. She wasn't cold or distant at all. Maybe things were finally turning around. If we kept spending time like this, maybe after the exams, I could confess properly. Our grades were pretty close, so we'd probably end up at the same university anyway. After we finished our drinks and walked to the intersection to say goodbye, she suddenly tugged on my backpack strap. "Wait," she said. Then she stepped behind me and asked, "Why didn't you zip up the last pocket of your bag?" "Oh really?" I asked, trying to turn around but couldn't see it. "Thanks." There was a soft zip, and then we were side by side again. "Okay," she smiled. "See you tomorrow." I waved goodbye, heart floating a little. But when I turned to leave, I spotted a familiar silhouette standing under a tree not far away, slim figure, gloomy posture, intense stare. Lily Reynolds. Wait, wasn't she supposed to be sick? Why did my mom let her out? I frowned and walked up to her. Lily, you haven't recovered yet. Why are you outside? Her gaze, which had been focused on the distance, slowly drifted back to me. She tilted her head slightly. I came to find you. I didn't even need to ask. She probably sneaked out while my mom was busy at the food stall. But then I noticed something else. I looked closer and asked, did you cut your hair? At that, Lily immediately ducked her head and yanked her hat lower. Yeah, she said softly. Your mom cut it for me. I reached over and lifted her cap. Don't hide it. You look amazing like this. And honestly, she really did. Her thick bangs had been trimmed into soft air bangs, showing off her delicate forehead. Her features were sharp, bright, and honestly. She might even be prettier than Emily. Why not just take the hat off? I offered gently. You look really good, I mean it. Her cheeks turned pink. Really? Really, I nodded. As soon as the word left my mouth, she pulled the hat off and took a step closer, like she wanted me to see clearly. Her face clear, soft, glowing filled my vision. I blanked out. Couldn't breathe. My brain just stopped. When I snapped out of it, I quickly stepped back and said, okay, I saw it. You really do look beautiful. She seemed satisfied. Then she casually turned around and tossed the hat into the trash. You're not gonna keep it? I asked, wide-eyed. No, she replied. If I keep it, I won't be able to stop myself from wearing it again. That felt weirdly ominous. Still, I didn't think too much about it. She looked like she could barely stand, so I stepped beside her and gently supported her shoulder. Don't go that way, I said. If you're gonna fall, just fall on me. Lily leaned into me without hesitation. Okay, she whispered. I didn't see the barrage above me. Our green tea villain walked just fine for 3 miles, but as soon as her hubby showed up, she became a helpless kitten. I had planned to start walking home with Emily after school from now on. But ever since that day, Lily began sticking to me like glue, walking home with me every single day. The plan to pursue Emily Carter had to be shelved. Not that it mattered much. Emily told me she wanted to wait until after the exams to give me her answer anyway. Time flew by. And when the final bell of the college entrance exam rang, I dropped my pen and turned to look out the window. I saw Lily Reynolds standing at the school gate, waiting. Her willow-shaped eyebrows and almond eyes shimmered under the fading sunlight, and when she smiled, it was like her eyes were filled with shattered stars, soft, flickering, dangerous. Yeah, our so-called villain had passed the college entrance exam just fine. Maybe she'd have a future as brilliant as the heroines after all. That night, we had dinner together to celebrate. First time drinking. The wind picked up and the air turned chilly. Lily looked a little drunk, shoulders drawn in, shivering a bit. I took off my jacket and draped it over her shoulders. The second our skin touched, she leaned against me, arms locking tightly around mine like she'd been waiting all night for this moment. She nuzzled her face into my shoulder with a soft sigh, like she was content. A barrage scrolled through my head, like a stray cat that finally found someone who wouldn't chase her away. I felt her warmth sinking into my bones. I whispered, Lily, you're drunk. Let go of my hand, okay? But she pouted and shook her head. No, she murmured. If I let go, you'll disappear. Don't push me away. I'll be good. I really will. Please. Every word she said somehow made my hand itch even more. And then she called me softly, Brother Jason. Yeah. That did it. My heart officially joined the chaos. On our way home, I bumped into Emily Carter. Lily was clinging to me like a sleepy kitten, and when Emily saw us, the atmosphere turned awkward fast. I was about to explain that Lily was just drunk, but Emily let out a soft laugh. "Why wasn't I the first one?" she asked. "What?" I blinked. I stepped forward to hear her better, but Lily suddenly looped her arms around my neck, hanging off me like a warm scarf. "Brother Jason," she murmured again, and rubbed her head against my neck. My face turned red instantly. I tried to peel her off, but she was like Velcro. Emily acted like she didn't even see what was happening. "Why didn't you come find me first after the exam?" she asked. Her lips were curled in a smile, but her eyes told another story, helpless, disappointed. My heart thudded. I lowered my head and muttered, "I'm sorry." "It's okay," she said softly. Like always, Emily forgave without resistance. She looked up at me under the streetlight and said gently, "Jason Miller, if I say yes now. Is it too late?" She paused, and then added with just the faintest tremble, "I like you too. I want to be with you too." For some reason, the word "too" echoed in my ears like a drumbeat. Like if she said it, that made everything mutual. But before I could respond, the arms around my neck tightened. My heartbeat skipped. And then the system popped up in my head again, full of urgency. "Hurry up. Accept her. Say yes, finish the plot, and you'll get a massive reward." That kind of reward. It was the kind most people wouldn't think twice about. But I couldn't say anything. Because Lily was hanging on to me like her life depended on it. Her whole body trembled like she might shatter if I let go. So I just said, "I'm sorry, Emily." On the way home, the system fumed in my brain. "You're seriously giving up a jackpot like that? For her? She's volatile, controlling, practically radioactive. You fixed her ending, but do you really think that'll last?" I cut him off and said quietly, "Why overthink it? Tomorrow's not promised anyway. Might as well cherish today." The system hissed, "If she sticks to you like glue forever, she'll drag you into the abyss." "Maybe," I shrugged. "But all she wants is a little love. And as it happens, I've got a little to give." Not long after, Lily moved out of that miserable house that reeked of alcohol and trauma. She and I rented a place near the university. After we graduated, we even started our own business. When the system returned for its final check-in, it didn't say much. Just stared at the two of us rolling around in a 10-square-meter bed in our villa and gave up. It was speechless. The next morning, Lily curled up in my arms like she was born there, eyes half closed with satisfaction. "Babe," she said, snuggling closer, "I want a Jinbing-style sandwich today." I groaned. "Deal. But after you eat it, that's all you're eating, okay? I'm not stuffing half the fridge into another sandwich." She giggled and kissed my shoulder. In that moment, I couldn't even remember what the original plot was supposed to be. But this? This was definitely better.